This NASCAR Xfinity Series Championship Betting Picks edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by PrizePicks. Go to PrizePicks.com/SGPN and use code SGPN for a first deposit bonus match up to $100. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month and start making smarter bets today. Plus, the MMA Gambling Podcast just launched their YouTube channel. To celebrate, we're giving away an MMA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/MMA hoodie for all of the details.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. I'll wreck your mom to win a championship.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
It refrains me from not beating the out of you right now because you ask me stupid questions. But since I'm on probation, I suppose that's improper to say as well. If you could talk about racing things, we could talk about racing things.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
What say we talk racing things, Cody? It is, of course, the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He is Cody Zeeb. Hold on. He is Cody. What was it from yesterday? Cody.
Oh, that was a long time ago, Rod. I don't remember.
You're right. But I'm Roddy Hide the Body.
John, where are you at with our nicknames?
Seriously, I'm Roddy Hide the Body. Villagomez. Yes. I love it.
I don't remember what mine was.
From the planet Zeeb. I think that's
there
what
you
it was.
go. Yep.
We are here, of course, to talk about the Xfinity Championship race from the Phoenix Raceway in Avondale, Arizona. This is it, Cody, the very, very last race for the Xfinity Series of the season. The person that wins this race more than likely will walk away as the champion, possibly. I mean, obviously, that's not always the case, but
yeah,
pretty much
like we said yesterday, it can not happen. But I think we'll probably. I'm going to make the case. I think you may agree that probably a good chance that the winner of this race ends up being the champion. But yeah, again, same thing as the Cup Series, right? Got 4 drivers, finish the best. That's the only thing that matters. You will be crowned the champion, whether that's winning the race, whether that's finishing 32nd. Again, beat the other 3 guys, and you can win the championship. That's all it is. Sam Mayer, Justin Allgaier, both representing Chevrolet in the JRM camp. John Hunter Nemechek representing Joe Gibbs Racing and Toyota. And much like over in the Cup Series, we've got all 3 manufacturers represented here in the Xfinity Series. Cole Custer with SHR in the Ford camp. So, these are 4 good drivers. You've got a couple of veterans. You've got a real young gun. You've got a guy that's been up the ladder, back down the ladder, and is headed back up the ladder again. Good combination of everything, and I think we're in for yet another good show to wrap up the Xfinity Series season.
Well, last season, obviously, we know that it was a Joe Gibbs driver. In fact, it was a Gibbs anyways that crossed the checkered finish line and won the championship and the race. Of course, now he's spending his Sundays up in the Cup Series. Ty Gibbs. Who's it going to be this year? Obviously, we're not going to get a repeat champion because Ty Gibbs not a part of this anymore.
Yep. Yeah, and Joe Gibbs, I mean, he trying to go for the title on Saturday and Sunday, much like last year. He had a shot at both, obviously. Who was it? Yeah, because Christopher Bell. Yeah, it was crazy. Of the Joe Gibbs guys, Christopher Bell's been the one that's represented him in the Final Four a couple of seasons. Yeah, so with the Hamlins and the Truexes, you think that, and Kyle Busch last year even, I mean, Ty this year, you weren't necessarily expecting him to get that far for sure, but Christopher Bell, he's been the guy that's representing him. So yeah, Gibbs obviously has the opportunity to win back-to-back championships and have a hell of a weekend.
Yep. Hell of a weekend indeed, and a hell of a season so far for this Xfinity Series. Obviously, coming down to this final race, the 4 drivers. I mean, I love, and I don't know that we talked about this in the recap, but I very much love the tweet that I think it was SHR had put out with Cole Custer backing into and across the finish line, and it said, "Never give up." I was like, dude, I want that. Like, I want a video playing of that in my office every single day. That is motivational if ever there is any.
Yeah, I love it. It's great. And yeah, I mean, he was on fire, still backed across the line. Yeah, that was outstanding. Just to kind of set this up as far as odds go before we get into all the bets. A little bit different than the Cup Series here. Come back tomorrow for the Truck Series because they don't even have the top 4. They don't have the 4 playoff guys. They're not the 4 favorites in the truck race, which is definitely different. But Xfinity, it is the 4 same here. John Hunter, much like Kyle Larson, a fairly heavy favorite, plus 160. Then it's Allgaier, plus 325. This is looking over at Caesars. Cole Custer's plus 375. Sam Mayer, 7-1. So obviously Mayer is the long shot of the group. They think he has the least chance. John Hunter being the most favorited here. It'll be interesting to see how this one shakes out.
Yeah, and honestly, we talked about it too in the Cup Series yesterday, that it isn't always the favorites that win this race, but it always is the favorites that win this race. And honestly, obviously from seasons past, when you look at the top of the pylon, more often than not, those 4 cars, the highlighted cars, are always at the front, if not the top 3, all race long. So it's just a matter of, can they play nice for the whole race, and will one of them end up punting the other to try to win? I mean, obviously there were teammates last season in it, right? And Ty Gibbs punted his teammate to get there. Now you got Sam Mayer, you got Justin Allgaier, who, by the way, we know that Junior Motorsports has played bumper cars with each other all season long. This is going to be very interesting to see if maybe that goes down to the wire, and if there's there.
You would hope it doesn't happen in this race. It is a little harder to see the bumper cars here than Martinsville for sure. But I mean, hey, you get an opportunity late. If we get a late restart, we've seen the lengths these guys are willing to go to get into this race. Go back and listen to the clip at the beginning of the show. Wreck your mom to win a championship. I'll wreck my mom to win a championship. So who knows what we'll see.
Who knows what we'll see.
Of all of them, Xfinity probably delivers on the excitement more than any of the series. So who knows what you'll get at the end of this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, too, when you really think about what the season has come down to, and where these drivers are going afterwards, because a lot of these guys really are going to be going to Cup rides, and this may be the last time we see them. I mean, not obviously in the Xfinity Series, but in the full-time Xfinity rides for a while. So unless they come back down like a Cole Custer or something, but yeah. But,
yeah, and I mean, actually, really, of the Final 4, John Hunter's the only one that's leaving. So Allgaier, well, have we heard on Cole Custer if he's coming back to that car? I don't know. That's been made official. Obviously, he's not going. Okay, I can't say obviously because the 10 car is not technically officially announced. Although I believe Noah Gregson posted a picture fishing today in a Bass Pro Shops hat. So if that tells you anything about sponsors sticking with them and probably going on that 10 car, we'll talk about that in the offseason when we get that news officially. But yeah, I think Cole Custer will likely be back. Allgaier's coming back for another season. Sam Mayer's going to be back in JRM another season as well. Boy, he might be a guy to really watch next year. I don't know. Again, we'll touch on it as we get into the championship talk, whether we think he can get it done. I don't know if he's quite ready yet, but it's been hella impressive here towards the latter part of the season, racking off wins and really just showing up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're going to see it all play out in front of us on Saturday as the finale of the season is going to decide who walks away with the Cup. We'll set this race up, but first, tell you about PrizePicks. It's the most fun I've ever had, winning up to 25 times my money this football season. But now you can also play during basketball season too. All you got to do is select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You want to play alongside some of PrizePicks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill, comedian Andrew Schultz? Well, now you can find community plays under the promos tab of the app to view entries from some of the biggest names in the PrizePicks community as well. Plus, you also get a reboot policy so that your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For football, basketball games, you got a player that exits the game in the first half and doesn't return in the second. That player is rebooted. PrizePicks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. I'm going to test my skills on PrizePicks this season. It's the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And if you got the skills, you could turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. It's really simple to play. I can make my picks, submit my entry in less than 60 seconds. Plus, you get quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types. It's all what makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Plus, you get weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, who doesn't love them? A Taco Tuesday. PrizePicks discounts selected player projections up to 25% to provide even more value. PrizePicks now offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. Got to tell you, folks, you've got to get down on PrizePicks right now. Here's what you do. Go to prizepicks.com/SGPN. Use code SGPN for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/SGPN. PrizePicks, daily fantasy sports made easy. The MMA Gambling Podcast has just launched their YouTube channel. In honor, we're giving away an MMA Gambling Podcast hoodie to one lucky winner. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/MMA hoodie to submit your entry today. And make sure to subscribe to the MMA Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Yes, Cody, we are at the Phoenix Raceway over there in Avondale, Arizona. 200 laps around this mile, even for a cool 200 miles in the desert. 200 miles separates somebody from the NASCAR trophy. They're going to want to get it. They're going to need to get it. This race has not necessarily seen a lot of overtimes, so we may see, I don't want to say a caution-free race because there were 11 cautions in the spring. So we may get a lot of cautions.
Only 11, Rod? Jeez, that's nothing compared to last week.
69 laps, by the way.
Yeah, it's boy, I don't know that it'll be caution free. Hopefully we don't get 11, but there is potential that at the end of this race, it does kind of end up going a little bit caution free. We kind of just get one car that's running away with it a little bit.
I would hope so. I'm so tired of yellow. In fact, I'm going to be so glad when this season is over because yellow flags will probably be just dancing around in my head, horning my nightmares and making me want to cry. Because again, yellow, it's not my favorite color at all, man. It's certainly not. It's become my least favorite color over the course of the season. Yellow has cost me more money than my car has this week.
Oh boy, that's rough. I did. If you did not see Rod's post, he made a post about his car being at the shop today and how he was thankful for Xfinity internet. And I asked if his internet or if his car was going to be as fast as Xfinity 10G, because I believe that you're contractually obligated to mention that when you mentioned the Xfinity Series. As you'll notice, I kind of wish there should be a prop bet, although it would have to be like minus 1,000. So it's like, when they win the Super Bowl, like what does the MVP thank first? Is it, do they thank their family, or is it God, or, and this one, it's going to be, they get out and boy, I had a car that was just as fast as Xfinity 10G or whatever they always say, it's hilarious. Like they are so well trained on, like, you've got to work this line in, and every single one of them does it every TV interview. It's amazing.
I love it too, because their car can be in a gigantic heap at the in the garage, and they're just like, man, it's just a bummer because we had a car that's as fast as Xfinity 10G and we just couldn't get it across.
Somebody with a big teleprompter standing behind the camera, man. It's like, make sure you mention Xfinity 10G.
Guys like standing there with a big shirt on.
It's great advertising program, I guess, because obviously we're talking about it. So there you go.
When you sponsor the entire series, I believe you are entitled to having this. But
that's right.
So anyway, so like we said, 200 laps, 200 miles. Cody laid out our championship for and who they're going to be racing against to try to win this championship. So I don't know, Cody. I'm ready to lay out some bets. Are you?
Let's get into it.
Oh, first of all,
let's talk about the pressing issue here.
Let's air our grievances at this point. The books, my friend, did not do us any justice whatsoever. As Ty Tiger says, just one giant Xfinity 10G sign pasted on top of the camera guy.
Yeah, he's wearing a hat. That's Xfinity 10G. Jake, what's up, Jake? The merch
Jake,
god.
merch
Let's hear
god.
him. He says he's ready for the picks. But yeah, I will, as Rod was mentioning, rough this week. Man, they've just not been doing us a lot of favors in Xfinity here lately. Hasn't stopped us from cashing some bets. Definitely, I told Rod I found this first bet very quickly, and I had to do some digging, had to do some research to find these other ones.
And by the way, Cody, you should be glad that I left this one for you.
I was extremely surprised. Because you beat me to the document today. You filled all yours out, and I go, there's no way he doesn't have this. I looked and he didn't, and I go, wow, that's oh boy.
Well, you know why? Because I looked at it and I said, this is Cody's bet. I can't take Cody's bet.
Oh, you take Chase Briscoe from me, but
well, I mean, all's fair in love and Chase Briscoe, but I left you this first one because this one's your favorite one and it has been all season long. So
see, that's why advertising works, Ty Tiger. He said that was one of the first things he realized and said when he started watching racing. Damn 10G, like they've got their marketing platform down. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, they do. But yeah, you're right. The book's just disappointed. But as we always have, Cody, we have found good bets that we like. We're always going to stand behind him. So I say we just get to it.
Let's get into it. Austin Hill top 5 plus 190. Look, we've had this bet all season long. We've cashed this bet a majority of the season. Austin Hill shows up. Not one of the Final Four drivers, notably. No. But still Austin Hill. A pissed off Austin Hill might be the scariest guy in the garage. Probably the last guy you want to get in a fight with for sure. So I think I would say that Sheldon is lucky. I believe Austin, because he was on the Dale Jr. download, and then I believe he mentioned he doesn't want his daughters to see him fighting. So I think that maybe saved Sheldon this past week. So he should be very thankful for Austin's daughters. But Austin Hill top 5, it's plus 190. Again, you're getting it almost 2-1. You have got to take this bet. Austin Hill shows up. I know he's out of the championship. I know that's disappointing. He's still going to want to show up. And as long as he doesn't get into too much funny business with Sheldon, I don't see him retaliating necessarily on the track this week. Next year, when he's in a Gibbs car, he might not really cut him any breaks, I think. And he'll likely be running ahead of Sheldon in this. Sheldon might have a slow car this week. There's that potential. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's see. So Austin Hill, this race last year, last week rather, he almost won the race. That was the point I was going there. Obviously, the result doesn't look great because he didn't finish well because of the last incident, but would have won that race had it ended there in regulation before going to overtime. So coming off of a very strong running, results not there, but the running was there. Before that, 4th place at Homestead. He was 7th at Vegas, 7th at Texas. He was 5th at Kansas, 2nd at Darlington. So he's been on a pretty good run of having good finishes in the top 5, near the top 5. I think he gets it done again. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but he could be a type of guy that wins this instead of the champion winning this just to prove a point of, look how much my teammate fucked me. Like, again, it's much the Denny Hamlin thing. Like, these are the types of guys I don't see just throwing in the towel and calling it quits. Like, they want to show up with a point to prove here at Phoenix. Austin Hill's going to be one of those guys. You go back to the spring, he was 7th place, so not in the top 5, but fairly close. I'd have to go back and look, but I think there might have been a couple of Cup drivers in that race. 3rd place at New Hampshire, notably though, another short flat track on the circuit. This one is a short flat track. It's bigger, obviously. It's not as short like Martinsville last week, but it is still a shorter track and a flatter track, being a mile long and being fairly flat. But Austin Hill, again, we've talked about it all season long. Just a guy that's always there. Whether you think he's going to be there, whether you don't think he's going to be there. You saw it last week, right? The books were sleeping on him big time. We got huge numbers on him. The bets didn't cash, but they should have cashed. They were the right bets to place. Got to get on Austin Hill. Plus 190 for a top 5. This was over on Caesars. Got to get in on that.
Like I said, I didn't take this from you. I knew you wanted it, and I knew that if I took it, then we'd definitely be fighting it. I know that people don't like it when mom and dad fight, so we're just gonna leave it at that.
We had our fight on the Cup Series show already.
Yeah,
so
we did.
We don't have to have it here in Xfinity just yet, anyways.
Not yet. Save that for a little bit.
It's coming up in a bit.
It's coming up in like 15 seconds because I'm about to give you. Well, maybe not this one because this one we may be in.
This one's just gross.
Yeah, this one is gross, but that's all right because this is what the books have made me do. The books have forced me to take over Sheldon Creed. I had to get that in one more time before the end of the season. So we've been saying
I'm very unprepared. I had props. I don't know where they went. I had some Q-tips I was going to use here on the YouTube just to clean my ears out after hearing this disgusting name.
Yeah, well, you didn't hear it because, like I said, I had to get that in one more time for everybody out there. So yes, Daniel. Oh no, that's it. Daniel Hemrick over Sheldon Creed minus 110. Here's the thing, and honestly, for Sheldon Creed, I could almost stop this argument by saying, that this car is going to be, when I don't know if you guys have ever watched Wreck-It Ralph, but when Vanellope put her car together and it was just this like clunker of, just this sopping mess of candy. That's what I feel like Sheldon Creed's car is going to be this week. Whatever spare parts that they had in the garage, are just going to be like, all right, here you go, Sheldon. Drive this.
It's going to be so interesting because, like, you think about it, right? And the team that does this car, like, those guys all still have a job. And it's like, does Richard or Andy come down and say, look, make this car, and then do they do it? Like, I don't know, but
I don't think that they're going to do it on purpose. I just think that they're not going to put their full 100% effort into it because honestly, this is a lot the military where that you can get away sometimes with just putting something out there. Like the difference between you doing like 1,000% and you doing 60%, no one notices unless they notice. But like with Sheldon Creed, there's nothing in this for this race. There's nothing more in there. He's already been called the dumbest racer out there. Like
the dumbest to ever. Oh, by the way, John West Townley was the guy that I was thinking of. I heard them talking about him on I think it was DBC after we had talked on the recap show. And he's the guy who, horrible race car driver, ended up stabbing his wife or something. I think he's passed now. So, thoughts to his family, but like a horrible dude. And Rich and Richard Childress is like, this is the dumbest guy I've ever had, right? Like, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. Ty Tiger says, yeah, you two fighting over Brisk. No, has me betting on him.
I know. It's Brisk, yes, this week. All right.
And then Jake. Wreck-It Ralph is the shit. Yes, it is, Jake's, my friend.
He knows.
I love it. Sugar Rush. But listen, okay, so to get back to the point here, Daniel Hemrick, not bad finishes over the last 4 races. He won here in 2021, couple of 8th place
not
finishes.
Good finishes either.
A 10th place finish. Hey, better than what I think.
I thought you were talking about the last couple of races. Now,
oh no, the last
when
couple
I tried to bet on him.
Well, no, listen, 7th at the Roval, 9th at Vegas, 6th at Homestead, 6th at Charlotte for
top 5s.
Martinsville. Yes, none of them are top 5s, but they are decent finishes. Look at another mile track right at Dover, 10th place finish, 11th place, 9th place, 5th place, 7th place, 3rd place, 4th place. Not bad on that mile track. Really, ultimately, I just believe that Daniel Hemrick will finish better than Sheldon Creed because I think everybody in the field, I think everybody in the truck series is going to finish better than Sheldon Creed in the Xfinity race this weekend. So I honestly don't believe we're in for a good race out of him. So I take anybody over Creed, even Daniel Hemrick at minus 110.
I would not bet this out of respect for myself, but it probably is the correct side to take. I will give you that.
I think so too. All right, we got more bets lined up for you, but first let's tell you about Hall of Fame bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. You can enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bet's revolutionary parlay optimizer tool. You're going to get hit rates broken down by leg as well as expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. So stop betting in the dark. Join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use code SGPN to get 50% off of your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Cody, let's keep those cards filled out. Where are we going next?
Shout out to the Texas Rangers. They just won the World Series. Congratulations to them.
Did they really? Is it already over?
It's over. It's ended. It's over. They beat them 4-1. So
I'm sorry, baseball was still going?
Well, yeah, I know. I've watched my first 5 games of the baseball season over the last 5 games. But hey, our guy Noah over on the MLB Gambling Podcast gave the Rangers out like preseason at super long odds as one of his long shots. So you should check them out. Obviously, MLB season's over, but check them out next year. Anyways, moving on. That's enough baseball talk for this. Good job, Noah.
Seriously.
All right, here we go. Chandler Smith to win Group C over on Caesars. This group, he's at plus 220. This group consists of Josh Berry, Sheldon Creed, and he who shall not be named. That's what I'm going to go with for now, as he's his final attempt in the 10 car before he goes to the Cup Series for whatever stupid reason they gave him a ride there. But Chandler Smith, it's not been the greatest the last couple of weeks, right? 36th and 34th place finishes, so it's a little rough, little and he's leaving colleagues, so that's the kind of concern here. But prior to that, he finished 4th place at Vegas, 4th place at Texas, 5th place at Bristol. He was 5th place here in the spring where he was really good. Last season, he was 3rd in the truck race here. He won the truck race here in 2021. So he's been good at Phoenix in the past. He's had a pretty decent end of the season other than the last 2 weeks where things have been rough. But you look at this group, and to me, this is just a really, really weak group. You've got Josh Berry, who, it's just been a very, very forgettable season for Josh Berry, especially the second half of the season here. Things have just not been going great for Josh Berry. All in on fading him. He's obviously getting ready to go to the 4 car. Been eliminated from the playoffs a while ago. I think he's ready to just kind of be done with this, move over into the 4 camp, move over into SHR, get things rolling over there. He's one of those guys that's kind of in vacation mode, I think, right? He's about to get his big break in the Cup Series with a big team, get into the offseason. Let's get some time to relax, get started working with those guys. I think he's looking forward. I don't think you're going to see much out of Josh Berry. Sheldon Creed, just mentioned how he could have, he might be Fred Flintstone in it out there. Maybe there's not even pedals. He just has to pedal it with his feet. You never know, but you can't trust what he's going to have out there. Can't trust his mind space where he's at right now. Maybe he says fuck everybody and goes out and wins the race just to do it and everything, but I don't really see that happening. And then he who shall not be named, I just want to fade. So he's probably the other guy in here that gives you the best chance to not beat Chandler Smith. But if he's good, I think Chandler's going to be good too. They're both colleague cars, and Chandler's the much, much, much better driver in my opinion. Chandler's been good here in the past. Like I said, he finished 5th here in the spring race. And then last season, he was in the trucks. He finished 3rd in this race. And then he won this race in 2021 in the Truck Series as well. So good track history here. Other than the last 2 weeks, which have been extremely rough for him, he's had a pretty good end of this of the season here. So give me Chandler Smith to win Group C, plus 220 over Berry, Sheldon, and he who shall not be named.
And yet, see here, I don't agree with you. I think that Josh Berry is going to use all of that and all of his I'm about to go out the door energy and put together a good race. Because look, if there has been a more disappointing season for a driver, it's Josh Berry. That 8 car should have been one of the better. He should have been in the championship race. He should be in the conversation to win a championship out the door. But for whatever reason, like I said, the bumper cars with JRM, maybe that announcement for him going to the Cup Series came a little bit too early for his concentration level. I don't know what it is, but this is one of those races where a driver like Josh Berry, a seasoned veteran like Josh Berry, is going to know the situation and know how to go out the door with a on a high note rather than on a low note. Now, you look at Berry, he's only been on the track 4 times as an Xfinity driver. In 2 of those, he has top 10 finishes, and one of those was a 3rd place finish in 2022. So he definitely knows how to get around this track. My biggest argument for him finishing over Chandler Smith, which is what the bet is, I'm sorry, I guess I didn't even lead with that. I'm taking Josh Berry over Chandler Smith, minus 110 in this head-to-head. I think the only reason that I'm kind of going on the Berry side of it is one, like I said, this is it for him. He's going to go out now and he's going to leave the 8 car. He's going to leave everything behind. There's some drivers that you can say that and make the argument kind of like you did earlier, where it's like, all right, his foot's out the door, doesn't matter anymore. Like Sheldon Creed for that matter, right? Sheldon Creed obviously has more of a reason to literally park his car in the middle of a track and walk away than does Josh Berry. So for Josh Berry, I think he wants to go out on a higher note to sort of get himself ready for the Cup Series next year. For Chandler Smith, on the other hand, I mean, you already read off all of his stats as far as how good he is, and he's been great this season, right? I mean, average finish in 15th place. It's a Collin car, so we can kind of say that that's a success for him. He does have a win. He's got 8 top 5s. But here's the thing about Chandler. Like you said, those last 2 weeks have been horrendous. He seems to find himself in just the wrong place at the wrong time. And this is a track that lends 11 cautions. That's 11 chances for a guy like Chandler Smith to find himself in the wrong space at the wrong time. And he's been doing that. And he's done that a couple of times too many this season. He's got 7 DNFs. So I don't know. It's just, it's tough for me to think that Chandler Smith can likely have a top 10 finish. I'm not doubting that in and of itself, but I feel like Barry is going to be jockeying for a top 5. He's a driver that can still get a top 5, even though he's not in the championship 4. He's one of those guys that has an opportunity to come out and post a very good finish. So, not to say that Chandler Smith can't have a good run. I think he could, but I also think that he could end up like he did the last couple of weeks and just get punted by whatever out there. So a lot of landmines in 200 miles. So I'll take Josh Berry over Chandler Smith at -100.
Yeah, I don't like this one. I'm just completely out on Barry. You go back and you look at what he's done lately. 5th place at Martinsville, but that was and all that chaos. I don't remember where he was running, but I don't think he was actually a top 5 car at the end there. 32nd at Homestead, 12th at Vegas, and 3rd at the Charlotte Road Course. Okay, but 27th at Texas, 36th at Bristol. Just not a bunch of great finishes for him lately. I don't know. I'm out on the Josh Berry train. I'm not screaming that Chandler's going to have a great day, but I do think that Chandler beats Barry. So going to have to disagree with you on this one, Rob.
As well, you should.
Wouldn't be an Xfinity show if we agreed on everything.
Seriously, this is where you come from the tension. This is where
we usually save the agreeing on everything to the other 2 series and depart from that in Xfinity, and that's been the story of the season. So we're going to keep it that way to end the season out, right?
How can we not? It seems to be our formula.
Exactly. It's worked pretty good for us too. So I guess there is that. All right. Something we do agree on. Rod stole my bet, so I pivoted and took a different approach on it. But we're both on Riley Herbst this week. I'm going to take him at a top 3 price at +475 over on Caesars. Look, Herbst has been on fire lately. 4 top 4 finishes in the last 4 races. What more do you want from the guy, right? He's figured it out. He finally got that win. He's feeling himself. He's coming back to this team next year. He's not ready to go on vacation. He's running the best he's run most of the season. Right now at the end of the season, wants to continue carrying that momentum on. 4th place here in the spring. 1 spot out of that 3rd place finish. And last year in this race was 7th. So again, that's not very far out. I would say from last year to this year, a completely new and different driver doing much, much better. So love Riley Herbst this week. Again, I don't think it's funny because I do think that the Xfinity Series champion has a much better chance of being the race winner than the Cup Series, right? We made the Cup Series, we made the case of, sure, it probably will be, but there's a really good chance that it could be somebody else. Xfinity, I really don't see that path as much, but I really see it being a top-heavy thing, specifically on one driver, maybe 2 of them. I don't think the other 2 are really going to be competing as much, and we'll get into that as we get farther in here, but I think that opens up a top 3 spot possibly for Riley Herbst. I don't know that he goes to the extent of winning this race, 2nd or 3rd to a John Hunter Nemechek. I could see that happening. And a +475, I think that's a good number on Mr. Riley Herbst.
Well, and so the one that I stole from you was the top 5 bet for Riley Herbst.
Yes,
and
which I really, really love.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is at +220. And I honestly, I
Four
feel
top 4s in a row.
Yeah, I feel way more comfortable with the Riley Herbst top 5 because of all of what you just laid out. The 4th place finishes in this one. And the fact that I honestly believe that at least 3 of the 4 championship drivers are going to be in that top 3. So again, it's very hard to convince me that, you don't get a Justin Allgaier, a John Hunter Nemechek, and quite possibly a Cole Custer up inside the top 3, jockeying for position all race long. And then maybe Sam Mayer does poke his head in there every once in a while. And maybe Sam Mayer ends up claiming 4th, or maybe, the top 4 really do run in the top 4 for the entire race. That at least gives me the wiggle room to put Riley Herbst inside the top 5 and still feel comfortable, because I mean, again, I like top 3. Don't get me wrong. He's talented enough driver to get it done. But with these championship 4 drivers, their crews and their crew chiefs are going to make every effort to make sure that none of them fall out of touch with the top 5. And that means it's probably going to be running 1 through 4 like it's been. We've seen it a few seasons already that it's run through 4 for the better part of most of the race. Ty Tiger says Justin Allgaier versus John Hunter Nemechek. Ooh.
Hey, you want to lay that juice on John Hunter for that one? It's pretty juiced up, but I'm good with it. I'll make that case in a bit, but give me all the John Hunter this week.
Kyle Lee, says, "What's up, guys?" Totally. And Ty Tiger says, "Once Sam Mayer will just have to do to Gibbs. I have a feeling. Do what he did to Gibbs." Yeah, I'll take that too.
Yeah, we'll see.
But anyway, so Riley Herbst, top 5 plus 220. Like I said, I'm with you on top 3 as far as if you want to, because at 475, that's a hell of a good number for a guy that can finish inside of the top 3. It's just, I feel way more.
You climb the Herbst ladder, right? Top 5, I think, is a must bet at plus 220. You want to tack that top 3 on there, get a little extra. We love climbing the ladder over here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Let's climb the Riley Herbst ladder. That is something we can agree on. A departure from our last bet where we disagreed. I'm going to continue, though, on that fade Josh Berry train. I can't even believe this is a matchup. I absolutely love this. Over on Superbook, they have Austin Hill over Josh Berry minus 110. This is an absolute hammer smash bet for me. Love Austin Hill this week. Again, I just talked about he always finds a way to be there. You look and again, almost won that race last week when we had him. What do we have him to win? Was it 25-1, I think, or 16-1? Like, it was a big number we had him, and he almost wins that race. He was 4th at Homestead. He was 7th at Vegas. He was 7th at Texas. He was 5th at Kansas, 2nd at Darlington. Go back to short flat tracks earlier this season, 3rd at New Hampshire, 7th in the spring. And then for Josh Berry, again, the 5th place at Martinsville, a little bit of a result of that big wreck, Daytona Mile wreck at the end, right? 32nd in Miami, 12th at Vegas, 29th at Texas, 36th at Bristol. Berry's been inconsistent as hell, and Austin Hill always finds himself there in the end. Austin Hill's pissed off on top of it. He's going to be there. He's going to make sure his name is talked about throughout the night. Absolutely love this bet. Might be one of my favorite head-to-heads we've had all season. In my opinion, this one is not even close. Give me Austin Hill over Josh Berry all day long. Only minus 110. Oh, that's like, man, it's like straight up robbery, Rod. But I love it.
I can get behind you on this one because obviously Josh Berry can finish in 7th and Hill can finish in 6th and cash this bet as long as Berry finishes over Chandler in 8th. And we can all be happy except for you who would have lost that group bet. But listen, here's the thing about Austin Hill. When you put him, that 21 car tends to come out and run well and then fade and then come back up again. It's never a front runner for lap after lap after lap. And in fact, sometimes you're like, shit, where's Austin Hill?
You look up and it's like, oh, here he comes.
I thought he was back in 15th just a second ago. And now here he is in 5th. Like, what's
watching
going
Kevin
on?
Harvick for a few years.
Yeah, hanging back Denny Hamlin style. Like I'm dipping. I'm getting out of it.
Yep. Coming in at the end.
Yeah, I know when to put my foot on the pedal. So I'll get behind you on this one. But again, as long as Berry still finishes over Chandler, then we're all gravy. So all right. So I talked earlier about how they're, for me, the top 4 drivers are probably gonna be the top 4 drivers. But if anybody can break up the party, in my opinion, it's Sammy Smith. I've got him at top 3 at plus 250. I feel like this is really good value for the guy that won the race in the spring. It's lest we forget that Sammy Smith won this race in the spring. And it's not as if Sammy Smith has been on a complete and total tear this season. That was his only win on the year. But he's got 6 top 5s, 14 top 10s. He did finish 3rd last week at Martinsville after starting on the pole, 3rd at Texas, which is, another one of these ovals that we are on. He's fast. JGR is still fast. What kind of car does John Hunter Nemechek drive? A JGR car, right? So it's not as if Sammy Smith does not possess the speed nor the talent to be as good as John Hunter Nemechek. It's just a matter of, again, just competing with these top 4 drivers for the championship and whether or not he can insert himself into the conversation, especially late in that race. And, honestly, at plus 250 for Sammy to be able to be up around the front at the end of the race and have something happen like last week where, he can kind of skirt his way back into a top 3 finish, it could happen. And so, I don't know. To me, I feel like I said, one of the only drivers I feel comfortable breaking into the top 3 that's not in the championship for is the guy that won the race in the spring. So give me Sammy Smith as a top 3 car at plus 250 over there on Caesars. Speaking of Caesars, Kyle says Caesars had Hill over Creed plus 145 for like an hour.
Yeah, I saw he did post that in the Discord again. Another good reason to be in our Discord. That is a massive mistake that they made. Hopefully you got in big on that, Kyle, and hopefully some other people followed you and got in on that as well. But a great reason to be in on the Discord. Again, sg.pn/Discord takes you right to it. You can jump in. We're always in there having conversations. That'll continue through the off season. Still be around, still be talking NASCAR. It's not going to stop. And yeah, you can catch good things. So Kyle, thanks for sharing that in there earlier. Great catch, man. Oh, how much money would you have dumped on that, Rod? Good, I'd have loaded up.
I would have been able to fix my car 3 times over.
Rod be buying a brand new car.
Hell yeah. Shoot, I'd be going to the dealership talking about flash money.
Walking in with his big stacks of cash. But I do agree with your Sammy Smith top 3 take. I think the plus 250 number, it's a good number to get in on him. I don't know that he's going to win this race like he did in the spring, but dude, these fucking JGR cars are fast. You cannot put him, can't put it past him. He was really good here in the spring. Obviously, ends up winning the race. We know how fast he is. Doesn't always finish the races, and that's the gamble you're taking. But in this case, if he doesn't get a top 3, it doesn't matter if he finishes last or whatever happens. But he's got that upside of getting the top 3 for you. So I think that it is a good one. Next up for me, like I said, odds were a little not fun this week. So I had to do some deep digging here. Decided I'm going to take a little bit of a long shot dart throw here. This definitely is a long shot play, but I think it's got some legs. I think there's some possibility for it. Parker Kligerman to finish in the top 5. This is plus 950 over on Caesars. Again, Kligerman's not going to be the first guy you're going to think of when you think of a top 5, right? But you want to talk about guys that are not in vacation mode, not looking to go, move on. Parker Kligerman is doesn't turn it off type of guy. He is not going to stop. He's not going to turn it off. He's going to run that race. Then you'll see him Sunday pit reporting for NBC. He doesn't stop. He lives and breathes this shit. This has been his first full-time ride in many years. He loves it. I believe he's coming back next year in that car. I think that's been announced. I can't remember if it's starting to get so many silly season moves. It's hard to remember which ones have been announced, which ones haven't. We're going to have many silly season episodes in the off season because there's a lot. We got, no lack of content for us to talk about this off season for sure. But Kligerman, a guy that's not going to turn it off, right? So if you got some guys that are phoning it in, a Josh Berry, you take him out of the top 5. A Sheldon Creed maybe doesn't have the car, you take him out of the top 5. Some of these other guys looking forward to vacation. They've already got their trips planned. They're flying out Saturday night, going to whatever beach with their wife or their girlfriend or whatever the deal is. Parker Kligerman, not that guy. He's had some pretty decent runs here lately. It's been a little bit quiet, but 10th place at Martinsville. Again, the wreck at the end, maybe play a little bit in that, but we're going to give him credit anyways. 7th place at Homestead, Miami. That's only 2 spots out of the top 5. That's an intermediate track. I know Phoenix is still a short track, but it's, right in between the Homestead and Martinsville types of tracks. 13th place at Las Vegas was a decent run. 6th at the Roval. He finished 2nd at Texas. A royal chance he could have won that race. Kind of messed it up there at the end. 4th place at Kansas. 15th here in the spring, but the first half of the season to the second half of the season was almost like he got into a completely different car and a different team. That 48 car really turned it around, really started having some good runs as they made that playoff run, pointed their way in, and had a solid showing in the playoffs. So again, it's a long shot, right? Plus 950. But at the odds that it's at, I think Parker Kligerman could kind of be that surprise guy, like, wow, finishes off this great first season back full time, the top 5 finish. He's ready to go into Daytona and get back into the playoffs next year. I think there's definitely a good storyline to be had there. I think there's a possibility of that. if we get 11 cautions, if we get some chaos at the end of this race, maybe like a Martinsville where he slides up into 10th place, he ends up sliding up into 5th place. So it's a long shot for sure, but there's definitely some legs there. Love me some Parker Kligerman. Gonna end the season betting on him. So give me Parker Kligerman, top 5 plus 950 over on Caesars.
You blink and he's in the top 10. Like that's another one of those guys where you kind of think to yourself, where's the 48 car been? And why does it feel like he hasn't been in the top 10? And now all of a sudden he is in the top 10. So, yeah, I mean, again, at 950, what the hell, right? This is a throw a dart at the board and see if it sticks. And Parker Kligerman is not without the talent to kind of make it stick. So yeah, we'll roll with you on that one. All right, my next one takes me back because I have to end the season with a winning car number bet. How can I not get back to this to end the season? So I'm going to do them all. I'm going to do both. I'm going to do the winning car number as odd at plus 180 over on Caesars. And 2 of the 4 drivers in the championship mix are odd numbers. They are both the Junior Motorsports car. How do I continue to end up on Junior Motorsports? I don't know. So this is Sam Mayer, obviously, and Justin Allgaier in the 1 and the 7, which are that. And then, of course, you get the other Junior Motorsports car, Brandon Jones, who could accidentally do this. Those are really the main. Austin Hill, obviously, still has the outside chance to be able to get it done as well. So, I mean, really
Rod special Ty Tiger
the Rod special. Ty, listen, if nothing else, I want you to feel the home cooking before we send you off to eat some scraps for the rest of the season. But yeah, that's it. It's got to be the Rod special. It's got to be the winning car number. So odd because, like I said, Junior Motorsports has been my thing, and obviously Austin Hill I think is a decent way to get in there as well. And then I'm gonna give you under 9.5 as the winning car number at minus 105. Of course, that gives you both of the Junior Motorsports drivers again, right? But it also gives you Josh Berry. It gives you all the Junior.
It gives you all 4 of them.
Because why not? And then it gives you Cole Custer because the odd does not give you Cole Custer. Obviously, 00 is even. So if you want Cole Custer in the mix as well to surprise and win, then that gives you Cole Custer as well. Plus, gives you Sheldon Creed if you're feeling froggy. If he really says screw you,
Sheldon Creed fuck you tour starts now.
Yeah, like you think Kevin Harvick's car is going to be illegal?
How many? Okay. So Sheldon Creed, I just want to go off on a little side piece here because I'm thinking about this. Sheldon Creed going to a Gibbs car with all the talent he has. Now we know he can win because he did it in the Truck Series. He's won the championship, so I don't think he's a number 10, like where number 10 was in Gibbs equipment, finished second a bunch and had all these great races and couldn't win. He won the championship. I get it. He won his only race, but like Creed has done it before. If you put him in JGR equipment, which seems to be the case, right? Oh, he's going to be so good next year, Rod. Oh, I'm excited about Sheldon Creed already for next year. But anyways, continue.
Can we? No, I was done with mine anyways. But can he go back to being my favorite Canadian that's not a Canadian from California?
There you go. I do have 2 questions as far as your winning car number and your winning number bets go. What number does John Hunter Nemechek drive?
None of what I gave you covers John Hunter Nemechek's number.
Unfortunate that the Rod specials go out on the losing case, but that's what's going to happen. So here we go.
Well, then fine, Cody. Who is going to win this race, in your opinion?
What a surprise, Rod. Did you think I was going to come into this show and not be on John Hunter Nemechek? Absolutely not. It's plus 175 over on Superbook. I do not care. John Hunter Nemechek injected into my veins. Been on this dude all season. Absolutely love him. Again, we talked about in the Cup Series where Kyle Larson probably going to win. He just really doesn't feel like the best bet, even though he is the favorite and should be the favorite. So like we did there, let's just break these guys down real quick. Sam Mayer, it's been impressive, right? He's got 4 wins. He finally won on the oval. Inconsistent, though. You look at races like last week in Martinsville, ran in the back of a car under the caution flag, not paying attention. Super young kid. This is great. Comes into the Final Four, gets the opportunity to experience it. He's a long shot for a reason. I do not see Sam Mayer winning this. Justin Allgaier, the king of Phoenix. This is his track. He is so good here. Has he been good here lately? Not as much as he was before. How many times has he been to the Final Four? How many seasons has he been in the Xfinity Series? How many championships does he have? How many times this season have we made him make mistakes? Way too many things can go wrong with Justin Allgaier for me to bet on him. Now, if he comes out, dominates this race and wins, would I be surprised? No, because he is good here, because he's Justin Allgaier, but way too many negatives in the column for him. Cole Custer, we'll talk about him in a minute as well, but not been great at Phoenix. He seems like, does Cole Custer seem like a champion, Rod?
No, not this season.
He doesn't give champion vibes. I don't know. But John Hunter Nemechek, he gives you champion vibes. He's the best driver in the best car. It's not even close. Look, this car won the championship last season with Ty Gibbs driving it. I believe that this is the same crew and crew chief. I believe everything is the same. I think they train. It was the 54 obviously last year, but they changed over to the 20. So I believe it's the same. But it's been the fastest car all year. He's got 6 wins, 17 top 5 finishes. He was 6th here in the spring, so he didn't win this race, but his teammate, one of those fast JGR cars, did win it. His team won this, or, teammate not at the time, but Ty Gibbs won this race last season. I think that's a big case. New Hampshire, where we hit the John Hunter Truex, was it 30-1, 35-1 for them to both win? That was beautiful. Yep. Led 137 laps that day. Short flat track. This is going to be the John Hunter Nemechek show. The only way I don't see him winning this race, mechanical problem, pit stop issue. He's going to be the fastest car. He's going to be the best driver. I think he runs away with it. I think that the headline on Sunday morning's newspaper, that's what Derek always asks the guys on his betting preview show. Always, what's the headline going to be on Monday, right? I like that question. I always like to hear their responses, but the headline is going to be John Hunter Nemechek puts the field to sleep, Xfinity Series champion. He's going to run away with this. So I think that you bet John Hunter plus 175. Now you can get winning manufacturer at plus 145 for Toyota. At that short of a difference, that might be the better way to go about this, because it'll give you the coverage on Sammy Smith if he wins. Really, probably the only other Toyota that really would win this. So, but it covers you, right? Sammy Smith ran away with this in the spring. If John Hunter has some type of issue, maybe Sammy just dials it up and gets it done. You got Myatt Snyder in the 19. You're probably not going to win with him. Mosak and Gralla are back, but so it does cover you though for Sammy Smith. So at plus 145 compared to the plus 175, might be worth taking it that way. Again, see what your book offers. Look at all the things like we talked about in the Cup Series race. But I do think that the way to bet this, so we talked about in the Cup Series, like you kind of got to pick your one guy in the Cup Series. I think in Xfinity you can get away with betting 2 of the guys because the odds are far enough away. Like I talked about with Mayer, Young, I don't trust him. I don't see him being the champion. I don't think he's going to get it done. I can't trust betting on Allgaier, and somebody else is probably betting on him. We'll get to that in a minute, but no surprise there. But Custer, well, he doesn't look like a champion. I don't know. Sorry, Cole. I love you. I hope you win this. I hope you cash the 4-1. I'm going to take him plus 450 at Barstool. So actually, Barstool had probably the first time we mentioned them all season. They actually had the best number on him, so it's shocking. But they finally figured their shit out the last race of the year. But I think I'm going big on John Hunter. A couple of units, right? You just kind of have some other plays out here to save yourself a little in case he doesn't get it. Cole Custer to me, we came into the season, right? He's going to win 10 races. He's going to be the best car. He's only got 2 wins. They've been on road courses. They've been just kind of lucking into it at the end. Like Homestead a couple weeks ago, should have won the race, doesn't get it done. His track record here is not super great. Not a lot of good things to say about Custer, but I do feel like he's a Cup Series veteran. He's been around for a while. Maybe he just kind of comes out, surprises, gets it done. I feel like he could be the other guy in the group. So again, I feel like you really got to go with more of the championship guys in the Xfinity Series than in the Cup Series. But Austin Hill at 16-1, that's an auto bet. You got to do it. Talked about him earlier. You just got to throw some out there because Austin Hill is Austin Hill. Talking about a fuck you tour, right? He wants to come out and say, look, if my teammate wouldn't have wrecked me, I'd be the champion right now. I'm coming back. He's going to run it back with the 21 team, with RCR again next year. Probably going to be maybe even the championship favor going into the season. We'll see how it works. But I can see him getting it done. 16-1, I think he's a good insurance play to have. Also, Caesars has a boost. John Hunter Nemechek, Christopher Bell, both to win the championship races. Now, it is the race. They have to win the races, not just the championship. So note that. But it's plus 1,500 over on Caesars. I did give out Christopher Bell on the Cup Series show. If you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it. But I do think that combining them for the 15-1 is a good way to do it as well. So John Hunter plus 175, Custer plus 450, Hill plus 1,600, and then John Hunter and Bell to both win the races respectively, and give Joe Gibbs the double, 15-1.
I was going to say that would be not just winning the race, but they would both win the championship by winning those races. So definitely crazy. Yeah, and then look at again, and Ty Tiger.
Here's his headline: as the season dries up in the desert, John Hunter Nemechek finds the champagne and wins the Xfinity Championship. Send that shit to the presses right now. Go ahead and print it. Have it ready to distribute on Saturday evening.
Get ready to retract it because the headline's going to read, Justin Allgaier finally punches the way through for Junior Motorsports and wins the Xfinity Championship. Yeah, Justin Allgaier, 4-1. Honestly, again, this is a lot of what we talked about in the Cup Series where, yes, John Hunter, the proverbial favorite, plus 165. Go ahead and crown him already. Don't even worry about running this race. But he's been that way all season long, right? And he's still only got six.
Lynn says, "Laugh out loud." We got an editor on our hands. He is an editor, so
he is too. But here's the thing. But he's been that way all season long, and he still really only has those 7 wins. And there have been times where John Hunter has gotten into trouble and not finished well. In fact, he's been the fastest car over the last 4 races, and he still hasn't won all of those. Yeah, he finished second in Las Vegas and third at Homestead, but those aren't wins. And for Justin Allgaier, yeah, okay, same difference for him. He's not necessarily been the most consistent driver all season long either. But to me, I feel like he's got the momentum after last week, especially of just believing, right? There's a lot that you can lean on when you just won a really tough race last week, right? At least it boosts your confidence. You already know you're a good driver. There's no reason to doubt that. 23 wins in the Xfinity Series in his career, right? That's a hell of a run. I know it's a long career, but that's still a pretty decent chunk of wins. He does have 4 this season, was considered one of the top drivers to start the year with John Hunter Nemechek. I mean, look, it's going to be close either way between all 4 of these guys. And obviously, like we talked about with the Cup Series, if you really did want to just treat it like a first touchdown and dish it amongst all 4, I still think to me that Justin Allgaier offers the most value at 4-1. Because like you said, I mean, Sam Mayer, yeah, okay, he's great, but he's young, right? Definitely not somebody that is used to this type of pressure even now. He had a good playoff run, right? That's pressure enough, but like this is a lot different pressure. This is it. There's no, we can get him next week because there is no next week. So Sam Mayer's got a lot of pressure on him. He can slip up and make some mistake. Just like you said with Cole Custer, though. It's
of the 12 championship contenders through the 3 series this weekend, in my opinion, Sam Mayer is the longest. He would be the one that would absolutely shock me the most between all 3 series of if he wins the championship. And it's not a knock on Sam. He's a great driver. And next year, watch out because he's going to be good. He's proved that already. I don't think he's ready yet.
Yeah. And it's, it's about experience. It's just like Ty Gibbs. That's what I was going to say. It's like Ty Gibbs. Like sometimes
he's the exception to every rule.
Yeah. Well, and we'll see how that holds up next season under a sophomore year. I know that we expect big things out of him, but could be a sophomore slump too with all of the success he had or the moderate amount of success he had in the Cup Series this year. So, but yeah, Justin Allgaier for me, 4-1. Surprise, surprise. Got to go out on a high with my guy, Justin Allgaier, at 4-1 to win this race. And of course, the championship.
And again, I can see Justin winning it. I'm not on him just because, and it's been that way every time you've bet on him to win a race this season. Like, it's a great case, and we know he can do it, but he's just so inconsistent. That's what really kills you. Honestly, I think the way to do this is you bet on John Hunter big, and you pick. Is it Allgaier or is it Custer? You take them as your insurance play. You toss a Hill out there or whatever else you want to do. But I think more so here than in the Cup Series, like we talked about, I think you can get away with betting 2 of the championship 4 guys here. I think you've got a better shot with it based on the way the odds lay out, based on the way everything is, and just based on the fact that John Hunter should be head and shoulders above the field like he's been a majority of the season. And again, he's not invincible. He hasn't won every race. I get it. But I really feel it's going that way. But you make a good case for Allgaier. He's been good here in the past. I could see him, and I'll be pulling for him. I mean, I really all 4 of these Xfinity guys, I like all of them. I wouldn't mind seeing any of them be the champion. Allgaier, to finally get it done. He barely squeaks in at Martinsville. He wins the race. He's been running all these seasons. He's made it to the Final Four so many times. He gets it done finally. John Hunter, obviously, I'm going to have a lot of money on him, so I hope to see him. And Custer going to have some money on him as well, so wouldn't mind seeing it. The Cup guy gets shipped back to Xfinity, comes through, wins the championship. Good story, all that. But, yeah, I think that this is the way to approach betting on the race winner for the Xfinity Series.
This is the way. All right, get out your pen and paper. We are going to go over our bets for this NASCAR Xfinity Championship race over there in the Phoenix Raceway. Cody, started you out with Austin Hill as a top 5 car at plus 190 over on Caesars. I gave you the one, the only over Sheldon Creed at minus 110. Yeah, that's right. It's Daniel Hemrick. Cody gave you Chandler Smith to win over Josh Berry, Sheldon Creed, and he who shall not be named Daniel Hemrick in Group C over there on Caesars at plus 220. I gave you Josh Berry over Chandler Smith at minus 110 on Superbook. Cody gave you Riley Herbst as a top 3 car at plus 475 on Caesars, where I gave you Herbst as a top 5 car at plus 220 over on Caesars. Cody gave you Austin Hill over Josh Berry at minus 110 over on Superbook. I said Sammy Smith can crawl his way into a top 3 finish at plus 250 over on Caesars. Cody said that Parker Kligerman would be a top 5 car at plus 950. And then I gave you the winning car number as both odd at plus 180 and under 9.5 at minus 105. Cody gave you John Hunter Nemechek at plus 175 to win this and the next subsequent 10 championships in a row over there on Superbook. And then Toyota as the winning manufacturer at plus 145. Gave you Cole Custer at plus 450 on Barstool and Hill at 16-1. Also threw in a Caesars boost of John Hunter Nemechek and Christopher Bell to win the championship races at plus 1,500, where I said Justin Allgaier would walk away with the checkered flag for the second week in a row, claiming his championship trophy. That is it. Ty Tiger says, thanks, guys. Excited to follow along this weekend. Super thankful I found you all and got me into racing. Yeah, Ty was one of those Discord guys that never followed racing up until he joined the Discord before the season started, and he's hooked now.
Love it. I'm glad you've been along with us. Thanks for following on the ride with us. I know I owe you a trip to the casino since he lives down the road now. We've tried to hook up a few times, and life is busy. I'll tell you that. It's nonstop, but we're going to have a beer soon. We'll play some bets at the casino for sure. So, yeah, but appreciate you being along with us all season. Thanks to everybody that's been along with us. Again, don't go away. I'll be here all off season. Plenty to talk about when it comes to Xfinity, when it comes to the trucks, comes to the Cup Series, all of it. There's so much to talk about. I'm excited for that. Excited for this weekend. Kyle Lee, appreciate the picks. Good luck and let's go. Yes, and thanks guys for joining us on the live show again. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the little bell. Going live for these pick shows. Probably going to be going live tomorrow for the Truck Series episode. Going to have some. I'm excited to dig into that. I haven't made my picks yet, but you might know where I'm going to lean. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited.
If you could parlay all 3 of those guys together, I know that you're going to end up doing it.
Stay tuned. We might do that.
I'm just saying. Yeah, like Cody said, make sure you stick around for the Truck Series episode tomorrow. And then, of course, our DFS/Underdog Picks show on Friday to close out the regular season.
Oh, sad. It's almost done. F1 Gambling Podcast, too. We'll be back tomorrow with an episode of that. And, yeah, and there's still a few races left this season. So when you're done betting on NASCAR, you can go keep betting on F1. So join us over there.
Indeed. Again, thanks for joining us in the chat, you guys. I mean, ever since we have made these things live, it's been an added element of just fun to be had. So
yes, we will have Ty Tiger on to share his ping pong story because I really need more details on the depth of how all that went We'll I'm going to add that to the off-season roster right now. We will be in contact, Ty.
He was the Forrest Gump of the ping pong circuit. But, all right, Cody, as we send everybody off to go fill out their cards, why don't you let everybody know where they can find you on social media?
Yes, follow me on X at @Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my work over there. Again, subscribe to the YouTube. We appreciate it. Let's go win some money. Good luck, John Hunter Nemechek. Congratulations on being the 2023 Xfinity Series champion.
Justin Allgaier, keep that champagne cold. You're going to need it by the end of the race. And you are crowned the NASCAR Xfinity champion. All right, follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I got going on, whether it's here, whether it's Sportsbook Review, whether it's in between media. Last back road of the season, I'm going to join to talk about the final race of the year. So make sure you join me, Seth, and Elliot over there on the back road on In Between Media's YouTube station. All right, we'll be back tomorrow with some trucks. And then, of course, later in the week for our DFS underdog. Have some fun, everybody. Let's cash some tickets on the last race of the Xfinity Series season. And until then, let's go racing and let it ride.
Cast away on the mile.